What's up? Black men must understand that the key to life is in discipline. Now, if you're a black man out there and you're trying to self improve and gain a grounded identity in being a black man, I have a deep dive guide on all the things of coming together to learn black history, to eat healthier, to have a more calisthenics based workout, to become more financially literate, and overall just learn to come together with other black men to self-improve and gain that grounded identity in being a black man. If you're interested in that, the link for that will be in the bio section of my YouTube channel. So click on my channel, then click on that link in the bio section and internalize that and be the strongest version of yourself as a black man. One thing that I deeply regret, crap. One thing that I deeply regret growing up is not working hard or doing good in school, right? And I think I've said this before, but when you're lazy, all that produces is a person who isn't confident in their abilities and their performance and whatever they do, because they're never giving it their all. When you work hard and you're disciplined and you stay consistent, even if you fail or if you do good or you don't do good, you know that you have a confidence in yourself that you tried and you did what you were supposed to do to win, right? And I am understanding that uh, the things that I want in life are not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be a thing of, because I know it's cliche to hear about discipline all the time, but I kind of want to dive deeper into the aspects of having a successful life, having a life that you want, having a meaningful life, becoming competent at something, which means doing something that you're good at, right? Oftentimes people like to say things like it's not discipline, it's down to just you, if you're smart or if you're not smart, or if you are they try to make it be a thing that you're like it's not in your control, right? A lot of people like to take the victim mindset of things like, well, it's the government and they doing all this stuff to me, or that's why I can't become successful, that's why we broke. And no, that's not it, you know. And even when I was in school, man, I oftentimes look back at school because that was a clear moment in my life where if only I just worked hard, disciplined, and had effort towards something, I would have felt better about myself. Forget even if I went to college or I try to get some type of degree or whatever. I think just knowing that I could do it and working hard and staying disciplined, that would have gave me just a base level confidence of how capable I feel about achieving something in life, right? When you do something lazy your whole life and you're lazy your whole life, you kind of have a low level of confidence where you think you can't really do much. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't. You get what I'm saying? And so self-belief and self-discipline and all that goes hand in hand, because if you don't have self-belief, uh, or if you don't have self-discipline, that's going to produce a lack of belief in yourself. And when you don't have a belief in yourself, you're going to kind of never really try. You get what I'm saying? So it goes hand in hand. Uh, as I get older, I understand that I want to be competent. I want to be good at something. And sometimes you have to know how to humble yourself and just start. And one thing I've been learning nowadays, you shouldn't learn how to be a master at something that you haven't even started yet, right? Uh, that's one thing that I'm understanding. If you want to get somewhere in life, take one step in front of you. Be practical, be logical. If you want to be if you want to be a RN, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be some type of entrepreneur, some type of business owner, don't focus on trying to make millions of dollars off out the gate. Focus on getting in the game. Focus on taking that first step, because that's what's going to get you to where you need to be. It's not in trying to master the whole thing before you even start it, because that sense of arrogance and that sense of trying to do something like it's going to be that easy, that's what causes us to fail, and that's what causes us to be at a place where we're displaced about how long it's going to take. And we want stuff instantaneously. That's why I feel like even when I was younger, when I would make videos or when I would play basketball or any activity, I would think that, oh, it's just gonna be easy and it's just gonna be, no. Everything is gonna take some type of discipline and hard work, right? And the best way I feel like to have a good life is to do those things early on. So if you're a kid and you have good guidance from your parents and they instill in you, you know, that discipline and that hard work, you know, that's always going to benefit you in the long run. And oftentimes I look at a lot of guys who were probably like, you can look at guys who probably went to the NBA or they became a professional football player or basketball player. You know, they had to master their skill at a very young age. And that didn't happen through, a lot of guys can be naturally talented, but a lot of guys got that through discipline, got that through structure. They got that through sticking to the basics and mastering the basics. And I think that one thing I want to get better at, man, well, it's a whole bunch of things that I want to get better at. It's a whole bunch of different goals that I have. But I know that it's all about being practical, taking that first step, and doing what you have to do, even if it doesn't look pretty, even if it puts you in a place where you don't want to look like that, you don't want to be seen like that. You know, it all comes back to taking one step in front of you. If you go and look at my community posts, I make a post about that where, you know, your dreams and your goals aren't illogical. You can get there logically, you know. Obviously, you can miss opportunities, but if you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to be successful, understand that it's best to have a plan. It's best to have, you know, the steps laid out and just, you know, follow through with the plan. Because oftentimes we give up on ourselves because it doesn't happen quickly and it doesn't happen instantaneously, or we fail, you know. It's always a plan to it, and persistence is always going to win at the end of the day if you just don't stop. That's going to beat any type of resistance and any type of thing that comes in your life that tries to slow you down. The resistance is usually something where you fail or you mess up and then you tell yourself that I can't do this, right? And it's been plenty of times in my life where when something felt hard, or something I couldn't understand, or something I failed at, I let it go, right? And this just brings me back to an idea of, it's all about human beings, where we all very similar, and it really comes back to training, guidance, you know, overall perseverance in your mentality. And that's why it's important that kids are raised up around parents who are trying to put that in them, and they're actively living that lifestyle as well, where they're in a mentality that they want their kids to be in. Because I think that it's very hard to create that for yourself. Like you can see a lot of people who came from very unfortunate backgrounds where they were poor, they didn't have nothing, their parents weren't right there, and they had to create something for themselves. But obviously we're all looking to create something for ourselves, but it's always best for your parents to set you up in a place where you can easily tap into making something out of yourself. And that all comes back to the foundational basics of self-management and self-improvement. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Peace out.